inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism, okay, exception handling. So the two properties are remaining. That is what? Message passing and dynamic binding. Okay, that is comes under the polymorphism. Sorry, polymorphism as a virtual function. Okay. So next one, it is what? Dynamic binding. That is comes under the polymorphism. Okay, what is dynamic binding? What is the static binding? We will see in the chapter of polymorphism in this chapter. Okay, so we have the separate chapter of polymorphism. So there is a static binding and dynamic bindings. The concepts are there. Okay, what is meant by the dynamic binding? So don't worry about this one. We have the practical oriented program, static binding and dynamic binding. That is the polymorphism. Okay, we will see in the separate chapter. So that's we are going to start step by step. But these are the properties of OOPS. We have to just cover this properties of OOPS. We are not talking about here C++. We are talking about the properties of OOPS. In dynamic binding, the code to be executed in response to the function call is decided. Function call will be decided where to go. Okay, at a runtime. That is decided at the runtime. Okay, so here the C++. What about in C++? What about the dynamic binding in the C++? Okay, the C++ we have the one concept to achieve this the dynamic binding, that is known as what? Virtual function. Okay, virtual function. Show is the name of function which are available in the parent class. Okay, the same function which are available in a derived class, means child class. Okay, now we are calling this function show from the main function. Okay, we are calling the show function from the main function. So where to go, that is a question. Okay, so at the runtime polymorphism it will decide where to go. Okay, suppose now we have the two functions. Okay, and we have the parameters now, a comma b. Okay, we have the function that is known as add function. Okay, remove, or can take here add a function. How many parameters are there? Two parameters are there. Okay, integer a, okay, int b, and another function we have int a, float b, then integer sorry, add int can write here what? Float a, float b. Okay, now we are passing the value, means we are passing the arguments. Okay, 10 and 10.0. So can you tell me where the call is go? Okay, which function will call? First value is integer, second value is float, because we are writing here 10.0, that is considered as a float. So what is the function name? See here, this all the functions name are same, but parameters are different. Okay, parameters are different or not, but functions name are same. Then where it is go? This call. Okay, so that is decided in the dynamic binding, the code to be executed in the response to call, that decided at the runtime. Okay, so where it is go? At the runtime it will go this function. Okay, it will call to the this function, so it will take the integer value is 10, b value is 10.0. Okay, who decided this one? It's a runtime. Okay, runtime by default compiler. Okay, runtime decided where to go. Okay, now if you are passing the argument, the same function name is there. Okay, the 10 comma 10, now where it will be called. Okay, so it will be called to the first function, not for other two functions. Okay, we are passing the only integer type. So see, the arguments are there, parameters are integer and integer, so definitely this call is goes to where, here only. Okay, so that is the process. Okay, means a dynamic binding, and this is the comes under in the polymorphism, means ability to take the more than one form. Okay, this function having the same different forms. Okay, here is doing something, return a plus b. Okay, or it is performing some it is returning, this function is returning what, a minus b something. Okay, right, this function is returning other, this function is returning other things. Okay, so when we are passing the argument, this is known as passing the arguments. Okay, so which function will be called, okay, based on the argument data types. Okay, and who is decided at the runtime, because there is a add function 3, but based on this parameter or argument it is decide where to call. Okay, that is known as dynamic binding. Okay, this concept is known as what, dynamic binding. Excuse me. So the C++ has also the virtual function. Okay, to achieve this one, if there is a same function name and same return type, then what to do. Okay, so if you want to achieve this one by you, then you can use the virtual functions. Now what is the virtual functions, we are going to see this polymorphism topic. Okay, support this. Okay, now next one, next features, message passing. So objects can be communicate with each other. Okay, one object can communicate with the another object, so that we can send, share the information. So that is known as message passing. Okay, class is logical entity, objects are physical entity, right? College is the class, then college 1, college 2, college 3, these are the objects. Okay, each college have class, college have the data members. What are the data members? Name, college को क्या रहेगा, name, branches, okay, an address. Then what will be the object? C1, C2, C3 are the objects, and so on. And this object contain the physical data. Okay, the C1 college name is ANC something. Okay, branches something we can write, general science, science is there. Okay, category, address is something Varora. College 2 contains the name of other college name. Okay, these are the physical. College is class. So we are creating the objects of the classes. Okay, student is the suppose class, and what is the data member for student? Name, then roll number, branch. Okay, marks, that are the data members for the students. So you can store the how many students of record, multiple. Okay, s1, s2, s3, these are all objects. Okay, these are the objects of the student class, like structure variables. Okay, structure variables की तरह, these are the objects of the student class that holding the different data. Okay, So we can communicate this object with each other by sending or receiving. So that is known as message passing. Okay. So objects can communicate with another one another by sending and receiving information to each other. Okay. A message for an object is a request. That may be the one of the kind of request for executing, or you can say the execution of. Okay, execution of a procedure and execution of a procedure, and therefore will invoke a function. Therefore will invoke a function in the receiving object that generates the desired results. Okay, so by using the object, okay, you can communicate. So object can be communicate with each other, and they are going to share some information. Okay, when the function is invoke means calling function. Okay, जहाँ पे call हो रहा है, invoke हो रहा है. Invoke the function in the receiving the object that generates the desired result. Okay, so these are the some function objects. We have the some function. Show is the name of function. Okay, so objects can be communicate with each others. We can call it as an functions. Okay, s1 s2 dot show will get the desired result of that particular objects. Okay, the message for an object, that is request. If you are giving the message to the object, that is the request for execution or of a procedure, and therefore it will invoke the function receiving the object that generate the desired results. So by using this object we can send the message to the another object. Okay, so that object and object that get communicate, and how we can go and communicate we will see, don't worry. Okay, so we have the concept there. So these are the properties of OOPS. And every programming language, every object oriented programming language that follows this property. So that's why that programming language is known as object oriented programming language. But in the Java, multiple inheritance is not follows properly. Okay, so how we can achieve the multiple inheritance in the Java, that is another concept. Some property, some programming language that follows all this property, but some properties not follows. Okay, something concept is can't follows. Okay, 100% not a pure object oriented programming language. Okay, so these are the properties of OOPS, and this based on these properties of OOPS the object programmings are designed, programming languages are designed, and they are following this property. That's why this programming language that is known as object oriented programming language. Okay, so now let us see the next thing. Okay, so one point I am going to add here for the message passing. Message passing involves specifying the name of the object. Name of the function. Specifying the name of the function. Specifying the name of the object and name of the specified function. Okay, yeah. And the information to be sent. Okay, then information to the sent from object to object, because it's communicating the object. That is what message passing can be done in the object oriented programming. Save as. Okay, now we are going to see uh, next one, features OP difference. What is the concept? Next one, POP OP. Okay, POP language, OP languages. Yes. Okay, so POP versus OP. What is the difference between the POP and OP? Okay, so difference between the POP and OP. Procedure oriented programming language and object oriented programming language. What is the difference? Okay, what are the difference? So we know the POP, we language, one language we have seen. Okay, we know the C language, that is a POP. And in C++, this is a class of C++. In C++, we are going to see the OP. Okay, OP, C++ is the object oriented programming language. Now let us see what is the difference by key we are going to see here. It is a difference, or you can say POP versus OP. Okay. Okay, see here the key. Okay, serial number key, we are taking what definition. Okay, so what is meant by object OP? OP stand for the object oriented programming, that's it. POP stand for what? Procedure oriented. Okay, we know this one, object oriented programming and procedural oriented programming language. Okay, next difference is what? Next key to, okay, approach. which approach is follows? Okay, which approach? Top down approach or bottom up? Top excuse me, top down or bottom up? Okay, we seen the C language, that is a POP, and it's a top down approach. Okay, it's a top down approach. Top down matlab, okay, we can write from main, okay, top to bottom. Okay, that's why it is known as top down approach. But object oriented programmings are bottom up. How we can write object oriented programming? Okay, for example, class is ABC, we're having some data members. Okay, function, and you can create here main class. Okay, we can go to the main function, we can call it as, okay, we are calling this function, okay, by creating the object of the ABC. To call this data member of the class ABC, we must have to create the object, okay, of that class. So object dot function, okay, we are calling. So this is known as what? Top to bottom, sorry, bottom to up. Okay, this is the object oriented programming language. We created object and calling this function. Okay, execution of program start from the main and it will call to where? Upper session. Okay, that is, it's a bottom up approach. What is that? OOP follows the bottom up approach and POP follows top down approach. Okay, void main, then you can write here the main function. Okay, okay, something there, right? So this is known as top to bottom. जैसे एडिशन नंबर का एक प्रोग्राम लिखना है. ओके, ओके, सो क्लास ऐड and the data members are there something. Okay, function is there. What is the name function? That return a plus b. Okay, this class is completed and come to the main. This is C++ code I am writing. Okay, same thing. C out, or are storing this result in other function. Okay, sorry, other variable. ANS is equal to right, ANS is equal to add of this one. Okay, now we are calling sorry, we need to create the object of the class. Okay, what is the class name? Addition. Okay, is the object. Now a dot void, okay, calling this a function. So what is that? It is returning something. Okay, so don't write here return, directly you can write, okay, C out, and here is what it's printing, the a plus b. Okay, so directly. So now when we call this function, what will be the output here? Directly number will be printed, what? 30. Okay, this is what? Bottom to up approach. Okay, we created the class, create a main, we create the object, we are calling this function, add function, it will go to here and it is going giving you the a plus b. What is value of a plus b? 30. Okay, it is going to print 30 in the output. The same program how we can write in the top to bottom approach. Come to the main. Okay, then you can write here what? Okay, remove this one, don't use this function now. That's it. Okay, that's it. C++ follows the both. Okay, bottom up as well as top to bottom. Okay, POPBA, OPBA. So we am writing here print f. Okay, as a C. So percent %d, then comma a plus b. Okay, so it is going to be print addition or not. This type of terminology is known as top to bottom. This type of terminology is known as bottom to up. Okay, we are calling to main function. Okay, we are creating the object and we are calling this class. Okay, that is known as bottom to up. Okay, it's a top to bottom. So object oriented features कैसे रहते हैं? Okay, approach. What is the approach? Object oriented programming का approach. Okay, that follows the bottom up approach, and POP follows a top down approach. Okay, this is most important point for the interviews. They will ask you what is OOP, what are the features of OOP, explain the features of OOP with the practical oriented knowledge. Okay, what is the approach, whether it is top down or bottom up. Okay, they will ask, then it will be asked कि C++ और जावा टॉप टू बॉटम है कि बॉटम टू अप है. दे आर फॉलोइंग द बोथ, दोनों भी फॉलो करते हो. ओके, नेक्स्ट वन, थर्ड की. ओके, थर्ड पॉइंट, डिवीजन कैसा रहता है. ओके, सो प्रोग्राम्स आर डिवाइडेड इनटू द व्हाट. In procedure oriented programs are divided into the functions. Okay, and in OOP the programs are divided into the class. C में हम अभी तक फंक्शन स्टार्ट नहीं किए है ना. सो व्हेन वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट द फंक्शन, एक दो यूनिट के बाद फंक्शन स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे, देन यू विल अंडरस्टैंड. ओके, object oriented features, object oriented, that programs are divided to the objects and they are the interactions, objects and classes, that is divided. In POP, okay, so function programs are divided into the functions. Okay, and then interacts. When we start the C programming language for the features of POP, okay, so that times we have written this point. Okay, the functions or programs are divided into the functions. Examples for the POP: C, COBOL, Pascal. Example for the OOP: C++, Java, PHP, Python, etc. Smalltalk, that is also the language. Next feature, next key, inheritance. Okay, we have talked about the inheritance, we have talked about the security. Okay, what is the main approach for the C++ to provide the security? Okay, inheritance, main purpose of C++. Okay, additional to access to follows these properties. Okay, to add the properties of the object oriented concept. So that's why this C++ language is built up. And using the C++ language, you know, the database, MySQL database is designed. Okay, so the C++ language is used for the both to create high level application as well as low level applications. Low level means what? That is interact with the machine. High level is what? The user will be use. Okay, for example, MySQL database, that is completely written in the C++. You know, the Java programming language, that is completely written in the C++. Okay, C++, Java is designed. Do you know what is the difference? Okay, मतलब कितना flow important है, DSIGN. Okay, so by using C++ completely, okay, Java is written in C++, is adding the features of object oriented, more features in Java. Okay, Python is developed in the C language. C++, both language, that is used to create a database softwares. What are the database software? MySQL. Okay, this software, database software, is written in where? C++. So you must have to know about the concept of C ops programming language. Okay, so that's why this is the basic things we must have to know. So in inheritance, okay, public private protected is not available in the C programming. Okay, so in the object oriented programming this feature is available. Okay, so then you can learn the object oriented programming, that is very better than the POP programming. So start from C++, then learn Java or Python or anything else programming language. Okay, so inheritance is supported. JavaScript also follows the OOPS properties. Okay, JavaScript. Okay, learn the JavaScript more. Okay, with OOPS, classes, object, function, regular expression. Okay, learn this JavaScript front end technology with OOPS programming language. If you know these properties of OOPS, now you can ready to learn the object oriented programming with the JavaScript, etc. etc. JavaScript भी पढ़ सकते हो with having the properties of OOPS. Now next one is access control. How can access? So there is a no access control provided in the object oriented programming in procedure oriented programming language. Only one procedure oriented programming language we know, that is known as C. Okay, only C. हमने सिर्फ एक ही लैंग्वेज देखी POP, वो है C. Okay, procedure oriented programming language you have seen only one, that is known as what? C. So there is a no access modifiers are supported. Okay, no access modifiers are supported. Access modifier means public private protected. Okay, we can't make it as our data member as a private, okay, or public. So that by default is all are public. We are not going to make it as a protected. For example, you are storing the data of student in structure. Okay, C language में program लिख रहे हो आप structure. Okay, you are using the structure and they have the some, okay, structure, create a structure of student, they have the data members, suppose integer, roll number, okay, name, that is what character array. Okay, so now I want to make it as a roll number as a private. Okay, I want to make roll number as a private. Okay, only one the personal जिसका रोल नंबर वही देख सके, कोई देख ना सके. Okay, then we need to use here private access specifier. So now that is become a private, so only in this structure it will be accessed, not in other. Okay, सिर्फ यहाँ पे वो access होगा, बाहर नहीं होगा. Okay, so we are making as a private. So such type of access specifier is not available in the which language? POP language. Okay, in the POP, and we know only one POP language we know, that is C. Okay, we are now learning the one object oriented programming language, that is C++. Okay, so one POP you must know, one OOP you must know. Then what about then Java and everything? Okay, so these are the job oriented programming language, job oriented courses. Okay, then you can learn this Java. So if you know the concept of object oriented, then easily you can learn this Java. Okay, that your learning capacity or your capacity will be increases to learn this Java. Okay, then Python, PHP, okay, .NET, everything, these are all are the proper follows the both POP as well as OOP. So these are the basic things we must have to know one procedure oriented language, so that we can compare the C++ with OOP. Okay, if you don't know the object oriented programming language, and if you don't know the POP programming language, and we are talking about the object oriented programming language, then how we can compare this one? Okay, how we can compare? So that's why these steps are very important. If you know C, so that is we know procedure oriented programming language. If you know the C++, that means you know that features of OOP. Okay, you know the OOP. So that is why here we are not talking about any programming language, we are talking about the features of POP and features of OOP. That's it. Okay, then what are the examples for the POP and OOP? These are the example: POP C, COBOL, Pascal, Fortran. Okay, OOP C++, Java, PHP, Python, etc etc, like so the access control is not supported in the procedure oriented programming language. Okay, public private protected, so that is what disadvantage. So that's why the feature is added, means object oriented. Okay, so The Bizarreness startup has developed the C++ with adding these features. Okay, now next one, data hiding. That is the same things. Okay, so data encapsulation is adding. Okay, we don't have the data hiding in procedural oriented. Okay, which procedure oriented language we seen? That is C language. Okay, in the C language there is no concept to hide the data. Okay, we can't hide the data, it will be globally view. Okay, so in object oriented programming language there is a concept we can hide the data, that is known as encapsulation. Do you know the properties of oops? Encapsulation is there, binding or wrapping up data into the single unit, that is known as encapsulation, that is our capsule. Okay, we already know this one. Yes, data capsulation, wrapping up data into the single unit, that is what data hiding. ओके, एक घर के अंदर सबको बंद कर दिया. ओके, हमने उसको घर में छुपा लिया, दैट इज इनकैप्सुलेशन. So this type of terminology is not available in the procedure oriented programming language. Which procedure oriented programming language we have seen? Only C. No data hiding present, every data is globally accessible. Okay, in the programming C हम लिखे एक प्रोग्राम देखिए C. So जो भी हम डेटा लिखते हैं वहाँ पे एक भी डेटा सिक्योर नहीं है, वो ग्लोबली एक्सेस हो सकता है. ओके, नाउ next one. Okay, examples, you can see the examples of this programming language. What are the examples? Look at here. Okay, so examples: C++, Java, PHP, Python. What are these? These all are object oriented programming language. Okay, these all are OOP programming language. C++ first programming object oriented, that is C++. Then using the C++, Java is designed. Okay, Java is written in C++. Then PHP. Okay, most of the high level programming language are written in the C++. Okay, that's why C++ is important. By using this programming, okay, low level programming of C++, so other programming language are designed. And what is a POP? It's a C, Pascal, etc., etc. Okay, so one language you have seen, that is C in POP. No need to learn other programming language because POP is not nowadays not going to important. Okay, so object oriented is very important nowadays. Okay, additional features are there, that's why. So this is about what difference of POP and OP. The difference in the terms of definition, that is stand for POP, OP. OP stand for object oriented programming, POP stand for procedural oriented. Approach that follows the OOP is a bottom up and POP is a top down approach. Interview questions. Okay, these are very important. How the programs are divided? Programs are divided into the classes and objects. The programs are divided into the functions. Inheritance is supported where inheritance is the features of object oriented, not POP. Okay. Access control is not available. Public private protected not available. Okay. So it is available in where object oriented features. Data hiding is not available in the POP, right? So hiding of the data is available only in the object oriented concept. Okay, what are the examples of the programming language? C++, Java, PHP, Python, etc. These all are what? Object oriented programming language. C, Pascal, COBOL, Fortran, these all are what? Procedural oriented programming language. Okay, so this is about what? Difference between POP and OOP. Now, next one. Now we are going to talk about the C and C++. Okay, now we are going to ready to talk about the C and C++. We have not started our C++ programming yet. Okay, we are not started our C++ features yet. Okay, we are not talking about directly C++. We are talking about object oriented concept. We talk about difference between the POP and OOP. We're talking about right now difference between the C and C++. Okay, difference between the C and C++. The same difference. Okay, some of the concept is same like C object oriented, POP and OOP. Okay, so we know the C is a POP language and C++ is a object oriented programming language. Okay, recently you know that things. C was developed by the Dennis Ritchie at AT&T Bell Laboratory. Okay, C++ was developed who? Bijarni Storbrov in 1979 at the same AT&T Bell Laboratory. Okay, so C++ is just extension of C. C++ is the superset of C. Okay, C follows the POP. C++ follows the object oriented. We know the difference as well as, okay, as you know. Okay, as I mentioned before, C is a procedure, C++ is the object oriented, right? You know very well. And C is a subset of C++. And you can say the C++ is a superset of C. Okay, we have just added the features in the C. So the name is given as a C++, means the additional features. Okay, that is a properties of OOPs. OOPs are added. Now, talk about some technical concept. C has, we know in the C programming language, there is a 32 keywords. Okay, know very well. 32 keywords are there in the C programming. But in the C++, how many keywords are there? Look at here. How many keywords are there? 63. It's double or not? Okay, it's near about double or not? So it's having the additional features or not than C. Okay, so C contains 32 keywords, but C++ contains here how many keywords? 63. Okay, again talk about some technical term about C and C++ programming term. Okay, so there are built-in data types are supported in the C. Okay, but here built-in as well as user data defined data types are supported in the C++, like classes and objects. Okay, header files. What is the header file used in the C language? stdi.h. Okay, stdi.h, that is standard input IO, standard input output dot header file. Okay, standard input output header file. Do you know this one? The C programming always include stdio.h. That is mean by the compiler. It is tell to the compiler, hey, this is a C programming language, and when we are going to write a printf and scanf, that is allowed to write. Okay, printf and scanf functions are available in this library. Okay, this is a C code. And now C++, in the C++, which header file you are going to use? iostream.h. Okay, iostream.h means there are the two functions like a printf and scanf. Okay, printf और scanf के तरह और दो functions है C++ में. Which are they? cout and cin. Cout, it is used to display the output. Okay, you can say cout is the output function, cin is the input function. Where it is available? IO stream, input output stream. Okay, stream dot h, it's a header file. Okay, stream, stream means class. Okay, stream means file. Okay, str stream. Then next one, C plus C is provides which function for memory allocation? मेमोरी allocation के लिए कुछ हम functions use करते हैं. Okay, that provide a memory allocations function. So malloc and calloc. Okay, in the pointer you have seen, structure you have seen, that is a malloc function. Okay, memory allocation function. So the malloc and calloc functions are for the dynamic memory allocation, and free function is for the memory deallocations. We use this malloc function for the memory allocation. Dynamically we have created the memory. Okay, dynamic memory allocation in C. In C++, we provide which operator? New operator. Okay, we provide here new operator for memory allocation and delete operator for memory deallocations. Okay, how we can allocate the memory in the C and how we can allocate in the memory in the C++. So two functions are available to dynamic memory allocation in the C programming. You know, we write one structure, and if you want to store the data of 1000 students, so we have to one concept. Okay, that is what array, structure to array. Okay, array of structure. ओके, स्ट्रक्चर मतलब उसमें स्टूडेंट है स्ट्रक्चर, और उसमें क्या क्या रहेगा, रोल नंबर, कैरेक्टर नेम, रोल नंबर, ओके, मार्क्स. हमको 1000 स्टूडेंट का डेटा स्टोर करना है स्ट्रक्चर में. सो एरे ऑफ स्ट्रक्चर हम यूज़ करते हैं, लेकिन हमको डिसाइड ही नहीं है कि कितने नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट का डिसाइड स्टोर करना है. अगर आपने 100 लिखा और किसी ने यूज़र ने आपने 1000 डिक्लेयर किया एरे ऑफ साइज, एरे ऑफ स्ट्रक्चर की, अगर आपने और यूज़र ने 1000 के ऊपर एंटर करने की कोशिश की, मुझे 2000 का रिकॉर्ड स्टोर करना है, तो मेमोरी विल नॉट अलोकेट. ओके, 1000 मेमोरी विल बी अलोकेट और 1000 मेमोरी को अलोकेट नहीं होंगी रन टाइम. सो इसीलिए हम क्या कॉन्सेप्ट यूज़ करते हैं, मैलॉक. हमने ये प्रोग्राम देख चुके हैं सी लैंग्वेज में. ओके, सो डायनामिकली मेमोरी विल बी अलोकेटेड फॉर द स्ट्रक्चर वेरिएबल्स. अब आप लिखो कि हाउ मेनी नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट यू वांट टू एंटर. लाखों लिखो, करोड़ों लिखो, कितना भी लिखो, जितना उसकी मेमोरी की साइज है, मतलब जितना वो सी प्रोग्राम ले सकता है, कंपाइलर ले सकता है, उतना. सो डायनामिकली मेमोरी विल बी अलोकेटेड देयर. Okay, so in the C programming we are going to allocate a dynamic memory using these functions. Which function? Malloc and calloc function. If you want to delete this memory, if you want to delete this memory, then we can use free function to delete that memory. Okay, for deallocations. Okay, we are going to delete that memory. That C++ provide a new operator for memory allocations. If you want to create dynamic memory allocation in C++, the new operator is used. Okay, and delete operator is used for memory deallocation, means to delete the memory address. Okay, now which function is used in the C and C++? Okay, which function is used in the C? Scanf and printf function is used in the C. Okay, that is used for what? Input and output functions. Okay, then in C++, which functions are going to use? Cin and cout, that are the used for input and output function in C++. Okay, so C structures don't have access modifiers. Okay, we know public, private, protected we don't have in C. Okay, but in C++ structures have access modifiers. Access modifiers means public, private, protected. Okay, public means we can make a data member as a public, we can make a data member as a private, we can make the data member as a protected. So these are not available in C. Okay, that is available in the C++. That is the difference between the C and C++. What is the difference? Okay, who is invented C? Okay, Dennis Ritchie. C++ Vijay Stotop. C is a POP and C++ is a OOP. C is a subset of C++. C++ is a just extension of C, and you can call it a superset of C. Just we have added here object oriented concept. C contains the 32 keywords. C++ contains the 63 keywords. It's a built-in data type supported, and we can provide user defined data types also. Okay, classes, objects are there. Okay, then header file we are going to use in the C, stdr.h. What is the header file we are going to use in C++? iostream.h. Okay, C out in C is available there. Okay, stream, input output stream are there. C provides the calloc and malloc function for memory allocations, and for delete the memory we are going to use the free functions. In C++, just a new operator. Using the new operator you can allocate the memory, and if you want to delete the memory you can use the delete operator. Which functions are used in the C? Printf and scanf. These are the main function we are going to use in the C. Okay, what are the functions, main function in the C++ we are going to use? Cin and cout, that are the input and output function we are going to use in C++. No access modifiers are there. Access modifier means we are going to give the data member as a public, private and protected. Okay, we are going to apply the security. Okay, so we can't apply security to the C. Okay, all this the data in the C programming language. When you are going to write one application in the C, that globally accessible in the program. Okay, but in the C++, we can give the access modifiers. So we can make it as a private, we can make it as a public, we can make it as a protected. Okay, so this is about difference between the POP and OP and the difference